You are on to Business and Economy, your regular program designed to improving your understanding of the workings of the nation's economy, resulting from the various reforms and initiatives of government. I am ILE EMEJE. It has been observed that countries across the globe prioritize unity of citizens aimed at sustainable growth and development of their economies, with Nigeria inclusive. Uniting Nigeria for sustainable economic growth and development involves integrating economic, social, and environmental pillars, which requires diversifying the economy, improving governance, and strengthening social safety nets. Key strategies include fostering inclusive growth, promoting peace and security, enhancing climate resilience, and ensuring all citizens have equal access to basic services and economic opportunities. The pillars of action include, among others, economic pillar, investment, fiscal reform, social pillar, inclusivity, and poverty reduction. However, some development analysts have argued that understanding the history of Nigeria or their country is paramount in developing the nation in order to achieve developmental reforms and initiatives. They emphasize that history speaks volume and provides narrative of the journey so far across growth initiatives, progress, and weaknesses of policies, and a way forward. According to them, when the past is known, the capacity to establishing sound policies peculiar to the system will be simplified, resulting in adequate growth of the nation. And so today on the program, the business analyst and the creator of National Cake Box.
Yes.
Or a game, or a board.
All of them.
All of them put together. He's the creator of National Cake Box and the board. He is no other person but Mr. Dixon Victor and Prince. You are a prince?
Yes.
Call it Prince.
Well, the thing is that my father came from the Prince line, but they didn't give it to me.
Oh.
So I left it for him, Prince Dixon, and I stayed with Victor.
Okay. Prince Dixon is my guest, and he'll be joining us immediately after the business news to analyze on the topic, which we caption as Unity of Nigeria, Key to National Growth and Development. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
The only way to win this fight is for one of you to bring home a husband. Who do you think you are? Silver white, just like you.
Show me who will take over as Ozusi and Oyinsi of Ndiani when I journey to Eligwe.
Do you think that the path to greatness does not require great sacrifices? The price has changed.
Welcome to Niger Step Down.
We're competing for the Niger Steppers Showdown.
Gbogbo tí Abọ́bakú bá fẹ́ ní gbogbo ìlú gbọ́dọ̀ bá fẹ́.
Abọ́bakú gba ilẹ̀ bàbá yín.
Èmi ẹkùn nìkan pẹ́rán nìkan dájẹ́ èmi ọ̀tá gidi bẹ̀rẹ̀ níjà. Èmi dẹ̀ ní ẹlẹ́sẹ̀ kejì òrìṣà.
Mgbe nsogbu adịrọ, oge elugo mgbe m agwa ndị a na m abụrụ egwu achị ụtaba n'aka were agba.
Sabon tauraron Arewa ya dawo, mafi girma, mafi karfi, kuma mafi daukar hankali.
Driving makawan ATM ne but driving slow.
Zan wuce kushewa. Zango na biyu, waka ce, sha'awa ce, tafiya ta ci gaba.
It's an interesting edition, and our guest is a business expert and creator of National Cake Box, Mr. Dixon Prince Victor. Mr. Dixon, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me again. I think I'm gradually enjoying consistently coming around. So thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Very soon you are going to pay heavily for this program. All right, let's start by what experts have said. And some experts across sectors of the economy have argued that the knowledge of history is very critical to all citizens of a country, including our own country, Nigeria, and that it is synonymous to economic well-being of a country. How do you agree or disagree to this?
I don't think you need to be an expert to say that. If you have common sense, you know that's what it means generally. Because yes, the rule is simple. Whether you're dealing with the country, you're dealing with a family, or you're dealing with an individual, the rule is simple. If you don't know where you're coming from, you won't know where you're heading to. And so that's the whole idea about the discussion, that history is very important. Because the rule simply is, I think it was Chinua Achebe that said, if you don't know where the rain started beating you, you wouldn't even know where the rain stopped beating you. So you should be able to have an anchor, because the logic of productivity, performance, and growth is that you must have ability to say, this was where we began, this is where we are, and this is where we are heading to. And don't forget, it is your direction that will decide the kind of vehicle you're going with, the quality of vehicle you're going with, the relationship with the people you are traveling with. It is direction that makes all those choices. Even as basic principles of life like marriages. Now, the kind of destination you're going to decide the kind of man and woman you marry. Fine. So it's the same thing to say, as a country, this is where we are heading to, but we must also know where we are coming from. It is only when we know where we're coming from, we can be very clear to where we are heading for. So that's why I said it's not an expert thing. It's the basic rule of life. Know where you're coming from so that you decide where you're heading to. In the case of Nigeria, it is very much necessary we know. Why? Because we're people who come from what you may call different direction. There's a lot of history about us. You hear people who tell you we migrated from so-so place almost like 400, 500, 600, 1,000 years ago. So when you're dealing with a group of people who have different history to them, one of the best things to do is understand at what point did we come together? Why are we coming together? Have we agreed to come together? If we have agreed to come together, what are we going to donate? What are we going to bring to the table? Just so that all of us can cook and eat together. We're going to prepare one pot of soup which everybody will be eating based on different appetites. And different areas have different, you may call it spices for food, different benefits on the table. So what are you bringing? What ingredients are you bringing that will put together to cook a pot of soup that everybody can eat from? This is the thinking behind. There is a need to understand that so that we know how best to move forward. Now, most people are very fast to tell you the challenge of Nigeria economically, are we doing well, and the rest. You cannot reduce a nation to stomach infrastructure, to think that economy is what qualifies a nation. To be honest with you, it's not the economy that qualifies a nation. Yes, the first thing that qualifies a nation is the quality of the vision of that nation, is the harmony of the people, the belief of those people in that nation, their culture, their value system, and their principles. All of those things is what gives birth to economy. That's why you notice every country has what they call different level of economy. They are all nations, but they have different economy because their value systems will decide their productivity level. Their productivity level will decide what they create, what they sell, what they make money from. So before you start discussing economy, you have to discuss relationship. How are the people together? Then you can now decide, based on that relationship, what are they producing, what is making money, and what is building the system. So that's why it's very necessary to look at our values, our culture, what binds us together first before you discuss any other thing.
I recall, remember in the last dispensation some time back, history was removed from our syllabus, especially at the secondary school level. What happened? If history was this important, why? It was removed, but right now in this new dispensation, it was restored or replaced. It was reintroduced. So what can you say about that?
To be honest with you, even me as a person, that has been my area. We are still fighting to know exactly what happened. In fact, within our circle, there's this joke we have now. We need to look for the person who took that decision and arrest the person. Because it's something we really cannot understand. You are having a younger set of people come. Don't forget, we are dealing with multiple generations. One generation leaves, another generation comes. So what is the work of history? History helps you understand the past generation, what they went through, their success, not only their failures. That's the mistake we make. We think history is all about. No, not the weaknesses, the strengths, their successes, the good, the bad, and ugly of their experiences. So the newer generation will now learn from it. Then when they learn from it, they improve on it. then they teach the next generation. So it's supposed to, it's like a relay race. You're passing knowledge across. As that knowledge is being passed, you're improving. As you're improving, you're developing. That's supposed to be the idea. But up to date, we really cannot be, look, to be honest with you, even though I'm very good in this field, we are not very sure of what exactly happened. When it comes to who remove history,
as in reintroduced.
But you see, the issue again, that's our problem also with history, is that everything in a nation is expected to be documented. As we stand today, there is really no clear documentation to why, time, and all those things. So we really cannot hold on to it. And that's why it looks very, very vague. Do you understand? Yeah. But the good thing now is that sometimes you can't cry over spilt milk. Something happened and you feel bad. But the fact is that this particular, what do you call it now, government has decided this is very important to bring history back to the fore. And so they are now putting it that, look, federal government has done a new curriculum and history is at the middle. So which means this time around, they are bringing history to tell you, look, this is important to us. So give it to this government, that they appreciate the fact that history is important. So now we have agreed and identified that history is important. So the next question is, how and what are we going to use to push that history? That is what we are facing now.
So what and why and how, the modus operandi and the rest of them, are we going to face history? Okay, that will be after this question. The call for unity of citizens is becoming loud and clear by the day, with the use of relevant tools, including, among others, the national cake and other activities. During the celebration of our 65th anniversary, most people, both at the government level and the private sector, all of them made serious call for unity of Nigeria. And this, as you said, cannot be achieved except to use some apparatus, initiatives, programs, seminars, workshops, even the national picnic fiesta we are talking about. So what is National Cake Box or the board all about when we are talking about history of Nigeria?
Okay, I think I always go back to the background. The background is this: one of the major challenges with Nigeria presently, if you reduce Nigeria to one word and say what's the challenge of Nigeria, it is the fact that we have misinterpreted the concept of national cake. Because for most people, if you talk about national cake, what they are thinking of, knife and shovel.
Normal cake.
Yes. No cake, knife and shovel. Meaning something is being eaten. Let me cut my own. But that's the only what they are thinking. Yes. Let me just cut my own. So because of that, that has influenced a lot of things about Nigeria. It is because of national cake that we don't have meritocracy. And I'll explain to you how.
How?
Yes. No, shockingly enough, people don't understand. That's because of national cake. Because most people believe it's come and eat. So if it is come and eat, why do you need an expert? Why do you need someone who is very skillful? Why do you need somebody who is competent? If the cake has been given to us in the north, for instance, like they will call it, is the northern turn. So it simply means it's our turn to eat the resources of Nigeria. So what do you need an expert for? Anybody that has a spoon, anybody that has a knife, that has a shovel, should be the one. Just come and cut. It's not an expert, because we are not dealing with values. We are not dealing with what we call trying to solve a problem. You need an expert when you want to solve a problem. But when you want to eat and consume, you just need a consumer who must not necessarily be an expert. So as a result of that, we don't even believe in bringing people who are good to be on the table. Now, if I am from the north, for instance, and I believe it is my time, and I meet someone who is an expert, but it's from the west, I can't give that person an opportunity. Because
you feel that
it is our turn. The best I can tell you is, hold on, madam. When we finish, is it not 4 years? Is it not 8 years? When we finish, when your turn comes, eat your own. Do you understand? That becomes the argument. So that's why you see we don't talk about meritocracy. We don't talk about bringing the right people into the system. Number two, this is also what is deciding our political arena. Because when you're discussing politics, what's the argument? When was the last time you heard, let's bring people who can fix Nigeria? No. The last time the argument to you on politics is one thing. Oh, the North has done so years. The South is about finishing its years. So the North should be patient. When we finish with the South, then the North can take over. So at the end of the day, nobody's really talking, who is it that is intelligent enough? Who is it that has the skill enough? Who is it that have the exposure enough? Who is it that have traveled around Nigeria and build relationship and understand different culture differently enough that can manage and build Nigeria? That's not our discussion.
Do you think so?
But
those are the ones presenting themselves as you can't candidates for us.
The problem, that's what I'm saying. If at a political level you're already zoning where a president will come from, what are you presenting again? That's what I'm saying. At the political level, you hear we have zoned it to the north. So simply means even if you have the best merit person that merits the capacity to become the president, the person can come out again because you have taken it out from the hands of that person.
But if there's no zoning, what we are seeing happening in Cameroon, where a leader will rule for about 43 years or so?
No, you see, that's part of the lie. That's part of the lie they lied to us. You see, the thing is that one of the weaknesses we have as a people in Nigeria is that we allow some lies to become normal, and we echo it and it makes sense. How is it that you have roughly, let's play with the number we are dealing with, 230 million people, and you tell me you don't have skilled people that are competent enough that can come for election?
If, for example, we have 10 skilled people from all the zones.
Yes. That's why it's called election. The 10 people come and then they bring their value to the table, bring their manifesto to the table. Then you listen to them and ask yourself, among these people, who are the persons that have shown, either by track record, the people that can lead the country? Then you choose them. So, but when a political party already has chosen from their own point, do you think they are giving the opportunity to choose?
There's a place of marginalization. They call for marginalization.
No. Again, what is marginalization?
One is I've been marginalized. The other one is saying I've been marginalized. Even my own people will say they have been marginalized.
Question.
Are we saying that we don't have competent people from the zone?
Okay, fine. Now the question will now be, like you said, if you say they have been marginalized, any area that has succeeded in investing in education, any area that have succeeded in helping its people to build, don't have issues. Because at the point of argument, they will push their best people forward. That's what I'm telling you. Most of these things are lies, and unfortunately we buy it and tell people, because at the end of the day, why do you think in the private sector we don't have that argument? Because private sectors are very interested in business, so they don't care about most of these things. What they simply say, you're good, come to the table.
What can you deliver?
What can you deliver? Yeah. You see a company owned by a northerner, but a southerner is the chief operating officer, because it's about competence and delivery. Then how come when you come to delivering Nigeria, suddenly you now tell us that there is what you call minorities? No, it's a lie. Any minority, in quote, that succeed in training its people, this is where the problem is. Ab initio, you don't train your people. You don't empower them. You don't push them forward and invest in them. Give them a face, give them a name, and then give them a reason to sign out. How will I know that there are competent people from that area? How would I know? I'll give you a perfect example. Most time people will say women are marginalized in Nigeria and the rest of them. Agreed, right? That is part of the popular argument. But I want you to go and check the most important banks in Nigeria. They are all led by women. Because of competence, skill. The bank that had the best result was led by a woman. So where is she coming from? She has a face. She has a name. In this country, fine. Then suddenly when you now come to election, you forget her. Don't you understand where our problem is coming from?
But it's possible she's not interested.
Okay, she might. Okay. Let's agree. She might not be. It cannot be everybody that's very interested. For a woman that can lead a bank that large, give them that profit and give them that face and give them that kind of organization. You tell me she's not interested in the country where that bank is operating from? No. There is no one that has succeeded in business that become a leader in business that is not interested on how Nigeria fare. Because the logic is this: no matter how good your business is, if Nigeria is on fire, your business will be on fire. So you have to be interested on the welfare and the growth and the development of Nigeria. So it follows. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes the thing is this: we allow politicians educate us, and that's the weakness we have as a people. And for me, this is what I think, that if Nigerians really get to know the history of Nigeria, what brought us this far, then they will understand some of the times the politicians are lying. Time they tell the truth, take it. But be smart and intelligent and knowledgeable enough to know when it is a lie and when it's a truth. Take the truth, throw away the lie. And one of the lie is that Nigeria is too divided. We are divided because they made us divided. And how did they make us divided? Anytime you want to run election, rather than come and tell me how good you are reminding me that I'm a Muslim and you're a Christian. That's where the division comes. Rather than telling me the policies, your ideas that you want to bring to the table and make the country better, you are reminding me that no, this one is from the south, this one is from the north. So at the end of the day, before we get to the polling booth, already we are standing on our own path. Because human beings are bundles of emotions. So immediately you make someone start hating another person. How do you hate? Hate is not a tablet. it comes from words, it comes from story, it comes from narrative. And consistently in this studio, you are one of the best and wonderful staff, that put together to put this studio. But if I sit down with some of them and start telling them bad things about you, what do you think will happen? The next program, there's going to be a conflict. Why? Because I sowed it. Now the challenge we have is politicians do these things and we look at them, we can challenge them because we even don't have the knowledge enough and the insight to know when a politician is lying. So these are part of the challenges we are having, and the only thing that can cure that is education. But education also must start from history, because without history you really wouldn't know. Like I told you, one of our major arguments is that when we talk history in Nigeria, most people tell you Nigeria started in 1914. The name Nigeria may start 1914, but the people that today we are all together didn't start in 1914. Nupe and the Yoruba Kingdom already were doing trades. Benin Kingdom already was doing trade before 1914. How do you reduce a whole people into just 1914 as if it's a box that everybody was manufactured and then say, okay, we are Nigerians? That has been our challenge, and that is actually what gave birth to National Cake.
All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
In his remarks at the pre-conference meeting in Abuja, President African University of Science and Technology, Professor Azikiwe Peter Onwalu, highlights the necessity of decarbonizing the ecosystem for better business environment.
So the idea of looking at scientific ways of mitigation of climate change is about decarbonizing the economy in such a way that the energy systems we are using should shift from carbon-based systems such as the petrochemicals to bio-based systems that are renewable, and that is why the theme of this conference is about the future of energy and climate change.
Professor Onwalu pointed efforts of the University on climate change with a center established at the institution.
This center here in the university is a center that is created to conduct research and use the products of research to impact on the economy by working with private sector, government agencies, development partners, and so on, for us to increase our understanding of what climate change is all about. And by understanding, having deeper understanding of what climate change is, then we'll now be able to come up with solutions, come up with initiatives, especially grassroots initiatives.
Earlier, impact of food security and system response through the platform.
AFREC seeks to bridge that divide, connecting science to governance and governance to action. Through this platform, we are building a continental framework that situates climate action as the foundation of industrial competitiveness, food security, and human development.
The LOC Secretary expressed optimism of better outcomes from the conference while noting commitment of the AUST.
AFREC 2025 is a call to the African Union and the African member states for coherence, for collaboration, for continual leadership. It is about positioning Nigeria and Africa not as a victim, but as an architect of resilient, knowledge-based solution preference.
Also speaking, the lead Awards and Fundraising Committee, Dr. Peter Oji, highlights sustainability plan and expectations.
To raise African sustainability and innovations, to see that the sustainability is a practical project. It's not just something that you just speak about, it's something that you work towards for effective working of our system.
ILE EMEJE, ASO Television News.
The guest, a business expert and creator of National Cake Box Game, Mr. Victor Prince Dixon, is still here with us, and we are taking a look at the deployment of National Cake Game, or Box as the case may be, to enhancing more development of the nation. Mr. Dixon, now tell us, if really the game is relevant as you have mentioned, what then are you doing to supporting government in realizing economic development and growth?
Okay, I don't know, I think I've shared this once, but let me repeat it so that it provides a context. Like I said, there are two kinds of people on planet Earth. And the whole world is the same everywhere you go. There are two kinds of people. You have what you call human assets, and then you have human liabilities. Human liabilities are people where they come into a relationship with you, they take more from you than they give you. They come into business, they take more than they give. So even if they are part of a country, they take more from the country than they give the country. So for that reason, the country cannot progress. Then you have another set of people called human assets. Now, liabilities take more than they give. Human assets give more than they take. So whether you enter into relationship, marriage, or as a country people, they add more value to the table than they take. So the first challenge Nigeria has that is affecting us from growing well is that we have too many human liabilities. So they are the one taking. So even the little money we take, they take from there. You understand? Even if you like build road, they steal from the road. Build what do you call it? Electricity, you're developing, they will steal from the tower. If you like build railway, they will steal from the panel. So consistently they are taking, these are the people that make us do 2 steps forward, 7 steps backward. So consistently we don't move. So what do? If you want to build the people, based on my skill is human capital engineering. If you want to build the people, you now bring them to a place of identity. For them to ask yourself the first question, why is it that these people are stealing from the progress of Nigeria? The first answer is they don't believe in Nigeria. The first answer is that they have lost interest in the growth of Nigeria. So they take away from things that make Nigeria move forward. So what I'm doing from my own end, without necessarily being in a position of government and the rest, but to assist developing themselves, first is to educate. And if you want to educate people, a lot of people are very fast to say, give them skill, teach them, what do you call it, skill. The most important thing is them. Teach them skill, teach them vocation, yes. But this is how it works. Yes, but this is how it works. The head helps you to think and vision. The hand is where you have skills and competence. But the heart is where you have the things that help you do good. So if you don't train people's hearts, they will use the skill and competence you're giving them to destroy you. That's why you see people are being taught technology, but they use that technology to do people yahoo. Because their heart is not in, they don't have passion for human beings. So for me, what I'm pushing for presently is that how do we make Nigerians have a heart that loves Nigeria? How do you make them a heart that is patriotic? And that is where National Cake comes to be. The first thing I'm doing is that to teach them understand history. Because the reason why some of them are not happy is that they don't understand how we come this far. And that was what gave birth to what you may call National Cake today. Now, actually, this is called a National Cake board game.
Is there a cake in it?
It's not a cake. It's the history of Nigeria. If you want to call it a cake, then call it a cake. But it's the history of Nigeria in it. Now, what I've decided to do is that, how do you teach people the story of Nigeria right from 1800 till date? You see, you can start imagining the library. How many books will you put? How many classes are we going to run? A lot of people are not even reading books. Fine, we have people who don't read. But the concept is that how many places, how many books will you have? So what we did was that, because in learning, we have learned that gaming is one of the fastest way to learn. So I now took those history and put it in form of a game in this box. So in this box now you have 160 history and policies of Nigeria that is influenced Nigeria till 2025. In this box, yes, you still have 35 things about Nigeria that will decide the face of Nigeria from 2025 to 2075. That is in the next 50 years. And all of them are put together into what they call a game mechanics, meaning use game, simplify education and learning and history in such a way we can play and be discussing history without being in a library. You can sit with your family and discuss history with your children without necessarily going to school. You can be in the church after church and then you're playing on a mat and playing with people and you're discussing history, but yet you're not being in a classroom. So that's simply what we did. We took history from books, took history from classroom and simplified it into a game so that people can play, laugh, have fun and learn from it. Basically, that is what is National Cake.
I was coming to ask you a question. That means that you have National Cake on how we can inculcate this idea, history, into the entirety of Nigerians, especially those that have graduated from secondary school, from higher institutions, and maybe other institutions of learning. How do you think? We have a lot of graduates roaming the street looking for a job without knowing their history, just like you said. And now you have emphasized that the knowledge of history is the way to go. Calling all of them to a classroom or a seminar might not work as effective as playing a game. Most of us like to play games. How do you think that we can get all of these people together to ensure they play this game and have that knowledge and further develop our economy?
Okay, we are doing a lot of things on the table to do that. One of them, I can say practically, is the collaboration we are doing with ASO, TV, which is our national picnic, right? Okay, now we have a national picnic on the 1st of November. And what are we doing? We are bringing people together. Why is this very important? I have done a lot of kind of vox pop within my circle, even people that are very top high. Not up to 2% know the center of Nigeria. Now you ask yourself, for a person that is well positioned, leading an agency, not to know the center of Nigeria. So which Nigeria are you leading? Which Nigeria are you doing policy for? Which Nigeria are you writing rules for? Which Nigeria are you interpreting? That's part of the problem. So you can't help a nation. You don't even know where is the most important spot of that country.
I'm sure a lot of people will say Abuja.
See, that was the answer. Most people will say Abuja, Abuja. In fact, most people will say Aso Rock. But do you understand? Now that tells you the problem. What I'm telling you, that is the soul of our problem. Imagine people in high position not knowing the center of Nigeria. So the first thing we are curing with this in partnership is, look, we are inviting people, come to the center of Nigeria and experience the spiritual center, the geographical center of Nigeria for once. Get to understand this is what they call the equidistance of Nigeria, meaning from everywhere in Nigeria, this is the center. Everybody should know this. I don't think anybody should even pass a civil service exam without knowing that thing.
Where the center of Nigeria?
Really, Nigeria, which country are you serving if you don't know the center? I want you to understand how deep this thing is very offensive. So that's the first thing we're doing. First is an invitation for everyone to come so that on the 1st of November, let's discuss and understand that we are re-engineering Nigeria, awakening Nigeria to move forward. But let's start at the center. That's number one. The second thing we're doing also is that we've had opportunity. I've had some discussion with people like Ted Fon, you understand. Yeah. We're also having discussion with some very, very strategic organizations, and all of them are very excited that they will introduce this thing into schools. And some individuals are beginning to even get it and give to school for free. Because for them, they just believe, oh, if students can know this, then they will understand where our problem started, and then they will improve. So individuals are also supporting the project. Yes, already a lot of people are playing on that. But on our own side, we are creating an app we call National Oven App. You want bake? Okay, come to the oven, let us discuss. You know what, we had Confab before, right? Yeah. So we are creating an app that has a form of a Confab, where Nigerians all over the world can come, discuss history, share ideas, share their pain and frustration. It's not going to be an abusive. In fact, there's what we call a leaderboard. The more positive and kind you are to Nigerians, the more we give you points. Because we want everybody to understand being kind to Nigeria is worthy of doing. And then also we are starting what we call the National Cake Championship, which is where, you know, Nigerians like entertainment and sports. So we are taking history and we are making entertaining and very sporty. Okay. So that the more they play and laugh over it, the more they are learning, oh, this was when this policy was formed. This is when the history happened. This was when the 1914 became the first time. This is the first, what do you call it, census that happened in Nigeria. This is the first school that happened in Nigeria. This is the first time money was changed. This is the first time they raised the first, what do you call it, fuel in Nigeria. This is the first time we have the first crash. And something as current as NSAS is this right here. So that we are putting all of this together, that immediately becomes entertaining and become very gamey. You know, Nigerian young people, they will adopt to it. But one of the things we want to achieve is we want to harvest the wisdom of the old people. Because my position is this: youth cannot save Nigeria. Anybody who says that is the lie. It doesn't know how the process works. We need the wisdom of the elderly Nigerians, the truthful one, their wisdom, and then we need the creativity and the energy of the young people, and then we need the innocence of the unborn. We have to put these three together to build a new Nigeria. How are we doing that? The older ones will tell us the mistakes they made. The younger ones will look at that mistake and create ideas, because this came from that kind of wisdom. Because I have an opportunity to talk to some very elderly Nigerians, and they tell me, the problem with young people, they don't know this happened, this happened, this happened. So lately they say that, and so how will young people solve a country they didn't know what happened? That was what actually gave birth to this. So imagine young people now having access to history. They will now create new ideas, new dream. Then this new one that are now born into Nigeria will have a new dream they can pursue. So they can now focus on that. In the next 10, 20 years, we'll get a new Nigeria. That's the dream we're heading for.
All right, who is eligible for this national
Everybody is a family thing. As long as you are Nigerian, you're passionate about Nigeria becoming better, then national picnic is for you. Come with your family. But most importantly, we also want to challenge any organization, especially parastatals and agency. You do not have a right to see me a director of PAMSA. If you don't know the center of Nigeria, I think it's an offense. It's an offense. To be honest with you, you know what I'm saying. How can you be discussing Nigeria and you cannot confidently say this is our center? It's not proper. I'm telling you, it's not proper. So everybody that has an office, that has an agency, needs to be around. Let me see. This is what is the center of Nigeria. Why is it the center of Nigeria? Can I stand in this center of Nigeria and wish Nigeria well? Can I stand in this center of Nigeria and discuss what is our next step to move forward? This is what the real national picnic is all about.
Okay.
Nobody should miss it.
All right. In 1 minute, what is your advice to all Nigerians, government agencies, even the public sector, the private sector, I mean to say, what is your advice to every Nigerian, the young, the old? You have said that we need the wisdom, we need the energy, we need the initiative and everything. What should be our expectation from this first national picnic fiesta, introducing the national cake? Are there prizes to win?
Yeah, there are prizes to win. That's number one. But for me, my greatest advice to everyone will be one thing. Most Nigerians have become ex-Nigerians. That's the problem.
How do you mean?
Yeah, they've gotten so angry. They are not interested in whether Nigeria move forward or not. They don't care. But my advice is, no one, whatever the business you build, no matter how you love your children and your family, if Nigeria is not healthy, your family also will not be healthy. So I want to beg every Nigerian. Yes, a lot has happened. Some I feel disappointed that they have lost interest. But I want to beg you, come to the center of Nigeria. Let's start this relationship afresh.
Oh, we are begging you to please come to the center of Nigeria and let's have this relationship affair. And what is our expectation on the economy, the development of the nation's economy? Will that provide employment opportunities?
Yes, because how do you get employment? People tend to forget creativity is what creates jobs. Jobs gives you employment. But if you don't believe in Nigeria, how do you bring your creativity to the table? How do you bring innovation to the table? If a country people do not believe in the country, they cannot create platform that build the country. That's why I believe that the more Nigerians love Nigeria, the more they build. Is it not painful to you that doctors are traveling out? Innovators are traveling out, creative people, first class. Do you know they are making waves? Don't you occur to you that those waves are supposed to be our own to enjoy? We can't enjoy it because they are outside. They have lost faith in Nigeria. So if you build a country where people start being happy enough to come back, they bring that idea to the table. They bring their money to the table. They bring their belief system to the table. And they build platform that will now increase the economy. That's how it goes. These people who are passionate about Nigeria, Nigerians will build Nigeria. We don't need anybody outside. We have all the resources available. We just need the patriotism that can drive the country.
All right, we all have the resources in Nigeria. And if you love Nigeria, participate in the first ever, the first national picnic fiesta, introducing the national cake box, as you can see it here. There are prizes to win, I bet. Apart from the prizes, we have a lot to put on the table to ensure that a sustainable economy is built in Nigeria. That is the opinion of my guest, and with that we have come to the end of today's edition of Business and Economy, and it is hoped that all Nigerians will be impacted positively on the first national picnic fiesta, knowing our history in the forthcoming first national picnic fiesta here on Katampe Hills, Abuja, for better development and growth of the nation. The guest we have been speaking with is a business expert, is a human capital engineer, and he is also the creator of National Cake Box But as the case may be, Mr. Dixon, we thank you so much for honoring an invitation to be on today's edition of the program.
Thank you to ASO TV for doing this.
All right, and to our dear audience out there, we sincerely appreciate you for spending part of your time with us. I am ILE EMEJE saying, enjoy the rest of our programming.